What if the reason your routine isn't working isn't because you lack discipline? It's because the routine that you've created for yourself isn't one that you can repeat. Because a routine isn't repeatable if you cannot do it even on your worst day. Hello, my Wellers friends. All of April, we're focusing on how to make our lifestyle and our routines a little bit more wellish. And this Monday, I thought it would be really important to talk about how you don't need the perfect routine. Like so many of us are constantly trying to curate because we feel that if we have the perfect routine, then we'll have the perfect life and we'll finally be successful and have everything we want. Or that is what will mean that we have our lives together, is when our routines look perfectly streamlined. But the goal is not to have a perfect routine. The goal is to have a routine that is repeatable. And that's how we build a life that we feel proud of and can actually feel like we're enjoying, but functions in a day-to-day experience. If anything in this episode resonates with you, please consider rating and reviewing the show. It really does help get episodes out to more like-minded listeners like you and I who need to live a little bit more wellishly. And if you're somebody that loves self-improvement but is really tired of the pressure that we feel all of the time trying to get everything perfect and get everything right in order to finally feel good enough, you're going to want to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'm speaking on this routine thing because this is completely how I felt. Like, I would listen to YouTube videos or read about people that had the life that I wanted to live, and they would talk about if you had this like perfect morning routine, that is what successful people do. Like, it will set you farther apart from like the average Joe. And then I think if you wanted to even look at it a little bit more realistically or calm or peaceful, Jay Shetty talks about morning routines like a soccer game, and that if you do really well in the first quarter, it's going to set the rest of the game up really well compared to not doing well in the first quarter and having to come back. It's just a harder thing to do. You can do it, but it's harder to do. And that was kind of like the transition that I was feeling when I was thinking about routines. And this is all routines. This isn't just morning routine. But I think that, that analogy worked better for me because it wasn't as hustle culture and intense and all or nothing mentality as maybe the first idea. But it still put pressure on me to like make sure that I was doing good. And if I didn't do good, then I was going to lose the game essentially. And I would try to incorporate all of these different things. I knew I needed to do skincare because, you see that all of the time. And I do have acne prone skin. So I was like, okay, that needs to be a part of my day to day. Then we've got the regular day to day things like brushing your teeth, maybe showering, brushing your hair, making yourself breakfast. So like there's regular things, right? But then there's all of these additives that get plugged in, and we're being told that that's what will make our lives better. So you hear of meditation, you hear to do yoga, you hear to exercise in the morning, you hear to do visualization exercises, you hear to journal in the morning, you hear to go on a walk outside and you get some sunshine. There are so many things, a green juice, there's just so many things that people talk about adding into your morning. And again, I'm talking about morning because I just think it's really relevant, but this is any routine at any point of your day. That like if you do these things that then you're finally gonna feel good. And that's because there is a little bit of truth to that. The things that we add into our routines to make us feel good do make us feel good, but it's not sustainable day in, day out perfectly every single day until the day we die. And that's the problem, is that it makes us feel like we're doing something wrong when we can't do it seamlessly for the rest of time. We don't ever allow fluctuation. We don't ever allow us to feel differently about things and change what our routine looks like. We think we're a failure if we can't do it always and can't stick to it. And then we can't be consistent with it because we're being so rigid about it. And that's what made me realize that I don't need a perfect routine. I need one that I can stick with, that I can repeat. And when I say repeat, it doesn't have to look exactly the same. The most repeatable thing for me personally is being able to spend my morning in a way that makes me feel good, however that looks that day. The reason perfect routines fail is because the expectation of perfection ironically creates inconsistency. Perfect routines are built for your ideal day, your ideal mood, your ideal version of yourself. But life is filled with unexpected twists and turns, unexpected emotions, unexpected events that lead to lack of motivation or higher spikes of motivation. Some days you just have lower energy. Some days are going to be busier than others. Some days you're going to be sick. Some days you're going to be out of town. Some days you're going to be hungover. Whatever the situation is, life is full of fluctuation, and you cannot plan for the ideal perfect day and be disappointed when that doesn't happen when life is filled with so much fluctuation. Because what happens is you miss something, you screw it up, and then you feel like you failed, and then you spiral down that, and you don't do the things that you said you were going to do, and then you feel like you have to start over, and then you go through this process again and wait for the surge of motivation to kick in to make you do that. But the whole time, you're self-deprecating about not being able to do the thing that you said that you wanted to, destroying your self-trust, therefore destroying your confidence. It's just like a vicious cycle. But it's not your fault. Like, if your routine only works for the ideal version of you on your ideal day, it doesn't work. It's not a perfect routine. The real goal is creating a routine that is repeatable. And I think the easiest way to comprehend this is switching your mindset around what makes a good routine. Because so many of us think that a good routine, quote unquote, is made up of aesthetics and a streamlined way of going about it and it looking the same every day and it being as optimized as it possibly can be. It's like we feel it has to be impressive. And unless it's impressive, even if nobody can see it, but like we're making choices based on how the outside world, society, social media, whoever like imaginary person could be looking in on our life would view it as impressive instead of just doing what we want. And that's how we end up doing things that we think we're supposed to compared to just what we feel like doing, how we feel like living our life. But the truth about a good routine that I think was really hard for me to honestly come to terms with, if I'm being really real, is that a good routine is boring. Like, it's boring and it's mundane and it's not exciting. And like, that's what makes it a routine. It's like doable at any day. It's doable however you feel. It's doable for whatever it is you're trying to accomplish and that it works for you. Like that you as an individual would create your own individual routine. You can take other people's ideas and try them as an experiment, but you have to figure out what works best for you as an individual. Everybody's so different, so of course your routine is going to be too. And that means that it's going to have to be flexible. You're going to have the core things that are important for you to get done, but knowing that they're going to look different depending on what's going on and how you feel each day. A repeatable routine is something that you can do consistently, even when you don't feel like it. And I think that's what gets misconstrued in the idea of consistency, that like we just pick the things that ideally we think would be great to do consistently and then beat ourselves up when we can't do it consistently, instead of choosing the things that really, genuinely, at this point in time, meeting ourselves where we're at, we can do consistently. Like, we're setting ourselves up for failure by picking things that we haven't done at all. Like saying, okay, I'm going to do yoga and journaling and green smoothie every single morning, and then being mad at ourselves that we don't get that done, instead of saying, okay, right now I just roll out of bed and brush my teeth and start my day. So I probably can't start by doing like all of this intense stuff right away. But what I can do is make sure that I do one thing that makes me feel good, no matter what that is. So maybe that one thing is yoga. Maybe that one thing is writing a page in your journal. Maybe that one thing is opening your window, taking a couple sips of water, like doing one thing that makes you feel good, and then being able to develop your routine that way because you know you can do that consistently. We make things so intense, and consistency isn't about intensity. It's about building your identity. It's about doing the things that you said that you were going to do and following through on that and saying, I'm the type of person who is healthy and a healthy person would do this. And so that's how I'm going to show up. And that helps you build the identity, which then circles through and allows you to continue to engage in the behaviors that you want to engage in over time. Building that habit in little pieces that build up over a period of time, could be months, could be years, but that you're not putting so much pressure on yourself to get it all right today, and telling yourself that that means something about who you are. So, to help you identify if your current routine is repeatable or not, let me give you some signs, because here's what a past version of me would have done is that I would have said, "No, I'm capable of doing these things." So that makes them repeatable, because I'm stubborn and I can be rigid and I want to believe that I am capable of all of this greatness. And so I put all of this expectation on myself, setting rules for myself and then beating myself up when I don't complete them, instead of approaching it from a place of kindness and reality and being like, okay, what can I genuinely do today and allow that to be enough? So, a couple of the signs that your routine isn't repeatable are that you are constantly tweaking it. Like, you are constantly making changes and trying to do the right thing and plan and figure it all out. Like, you're analyzing how you go about things constantly. Obviously, it's good to always tweak and readjust to better fit the routine into your life and do what works for you. But I'm talking about doing it at a psychotic level, that you can't figure it out and you're not getting the results that you want. So you constantly have to fix it because obviously you're doing something wrong. Another sign that your routine isn't repeatable is that you're always starting over on Monday, this month, this year. I'm going to reset this goal and I'm going to do it this time. You're starting too big. You're not choosing things that are repeatable enough for where you're at right now. Yes, you are capable of accomplishing anything, but today you have to make it repeatable. And in order to make it repeatable, you have to make it smaller and make it so small that it's ridiculous how small you're making it, so that you can just do that thing and then build upon it. A really, really, really common thing that people do that is a surefire sign that your routine isn't repeatable is you rely on motivation to get you to do the things. People are always like, God, I wish I could have the motivation, or I need the motivation. I need to feel motivated in order to get done what I got to get done. You can't rely on motivation. Motivation is the most unreliable feeling. It is a feeling just like anger and embarrassment and happiness and sadness and excitement. It comes and it goes. It's an emotion that we experience, and it's not reliable. What's reliable is your ability to repeat a routine, is your ability to repeat a habit. And through the repetition creates consistency, that creates momentum, and you no longer need the motivation. The motivation will come and go, and that's fun because maybe you'll be more motivated to do more on some days than others. But as a baseline, on the days that you have no motivation, you'll still be doing at least a little bit of what you said you were going to do. Another really big indicator that your routine is not repeatable is that you feel like it takes too much time or energy. Like you feel overwhelmed by the idea of getting the thing done or having to do it. Like it feels more like a chore than something that you have chosen to add into your life to make you feel good because you're supposed to be enjoying your life. Or kind of on the flip side, another sign that your routine isn't repeatable is that you can only do it when your life is calm. Like if things are going on and you're busy or you're high emotion or you're dealing with things a lot, you don't get it done. Your routine gets thrown onto the back burner. And only when everything is going exactly as it should or how your ideal day would go, that's when you end up getting it done. If your routine feels like something you constantly have to get back on, or you need the motivation for, or you just can't stick with it and you don't understand why, it's not built for your life, like your life as an individual. And it's not built for the you that you are right now today, or the you tomorrow, or the you the next day. And that every day is going to fluctuate, and you have to be able to evolve with yourself. And your routine has to be able to evolve as you do. And knowing that evolution takes place every minute of every day. Every day we are intaking new information. We are gaining new perspective. We are gaining new ideas about ourselves, about the world, about the people around us, about how we want to navigate our lives, especially if you are a self-improvement brained type of person. You seek growth, you seek learning. So of course, you're ever evolving, and that is happening on a day-to-day basis. So your routines have to allow for that. I want to give you guys some very simple, actionable shifts that you can make so you know very clearly how to build a repeatable routine. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to create your ideal day routine. I want you to take your ideal day, ideal self routine, and write that down. Like, figure out what are all of the things on your ideal day, is your most ideal version of yourself, what you would like to do. What do you know of all of those ideal things? What's the smallest version that you can get done, and build the routine from there? So essentially, the routine works as more of a skeleton, an outline, than the Bible. Then you're going to shrink that. You're going to make those things even smaller. So you're going to have your skeleton of a routine that you know that you can accomplish even on your lowest energy days. And then you're going to have your plan for those low energy days. So let's say your ideal day involves going to the gym and doing a weightlifting workout. But then your skeleton real routine would be movement of any kind. So that could mean stretching, that could mean yoga, that could mean going for a walk, that could mean going to the gym, it could mean going to a workout class, it could mean going for a run, whatever your thing that you feel like doing that day that would allow you to feel like you did the thing in your routine that you said that you were going to do, okay? But you need to know ahead of time what your bare minimum is going to be in order to feel good enough. So like for a daily movement, I know that when I feel like I'm going to rip my skin off my body because my brain is being a black hole rot fest, or when I feel like I'm incredibly busy and I don't have time for anything, I know I can stretch. I know for a fact I can put on a 5-minute stretching video and I can stretch. I know I don't even have to put on a video. I can just do a couple movements that I know because I'm a human being that went to school and has been in gym classes and can do a couple cross arm, hold my leg up, stretch my quad moments, and that will count for me as me doing something simply because I did something intentionally to make me feel good because I told myself that I would. And that's the thing about the routine, is not only do you get the benefits that it provides for you physically or financially or mentally, like whatever piece of that routine is providing for you some benefit to your overall well-being, but just the simple fact that you follow through on what you said you were going to do, which builds self-trust and therefore builds confidence. And then you're going to put all of your energy towards repeating that routine, however messy that looks, but doing it consistently as often as you can, more of the time than not, than doing it perfectly. So for the sake of clarity, one more time, you're going to build your ideal self, ideal day routine. You're going to take that routine and you're going to make a skeleton version of that routine. Then you're going to plan for what's the bare minimum thing that you can do. Shrink it as small as you possibly can, that you know it's almost ridiculous because you'll be able to get it done, so that when your brain is not working well on those off days, you can default to that. It's already planned for you. You know what you're going to do ahead of time. And then you're going to take the ideal day and you're going to throw it out the window. You're going to burn it. You're not even going to ever look at that ideal day routine ever again. You're only going to focus on the skeleton routine. And you're going to use that skeleton routine to allow your routine to be flexible, but serve you in the best way that it can. And that looks like you feeling proud of yourself for doing the things that you want to do that would make you feel good and that you actually can get it done. You don't become the person that you keep picturing inside of your mind by getting it right and doing everything perfectly. And the idea of the perfect routine is like the worst cesspool for this mentality, because we're tying our worth to our routine, but our worth is inherent and our self-esteem is what we can build over time. And we build our self-esteem by knowing that we follow through on what we said we were going to do, because we build self-trust. So we actually become that person that we're picturing in our head, not by doing all of the aesthetic, ideal, optimized steps that we're picturing, but by showing up for ourselves over and over and over again. And knowing that you're a person that follows through and shows up. Even if it's imperfect, you still show up for yourself, and that you keep promises to yourself. I've done both. I have tried the perfect routine thing, and I never felt good about myself. And it made me less successful. It made me trust myself less. It made me less confident. It made me not like myself because I just felt so badly that I failed over and over again, that I couldn't do what I said I was going to do. I had never felt worse than when I kept trying so badly to maintain this perfect routine and not being able to do it and not understanding why I could and feeling so badly that I couldn't. And it wasn't until I allowed flexibility, until I understood that I'm always going to be changing, and that means that my routine is too, and that it doesn't have to look streamlined and perfect and optimized and aesthetic in order to be a good routine, that it needs to be boring and it needs to be repeatable and it needs to meet me where I'm at today. It requires me to be fully honest with myself about where I am and knowing that where I am is good enough. And the more that I can show up for myself at where I am today, the more I can build my self-esteem and self-trust, and I feel good in my day-to-day life. And that's what sets me up to have a good lifestyle and a good routine. Your life doesn't have to be perfectly structured in order to be good. It just has to be able to support you and the things that you actually do and the ways that you genuinely feel. So stop trying to build a routine that just looks good and try to build one that's repeatable and see how it changes your life. I would love for you guys to comment something that you feel that you could repeat no matter what, even on your worst day. It really might help someone else feel like what they're doing is good enough. That's it for today's episode. Make sure to tune in Wednesday for my conversation with Terry Hansen Mead. She was really interesting. I really connected and resonated with her. So take that as you will. She's going to tell you how to design a life that benefits your true self and break free from like the societal norms and expectations. It was a really good conversation. She gave a lot of really good insight, so you're not going to want to miss it. Thank you for all of your support. I love you endlessly, and I'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Bye.